Okay, lovely. So, first thing we're going to go through is the basics of musical notation, and this by this I mean um, notes, what they are, and how long they last for. Why they look the way they do. You might see that some notes look different to others. You might have noticed that. That the main reason for that is because that's to do with note durations, how long a note lasts for. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a couple of things here. This one, okay. So what we've got here is a sort of a graph or a table, if you like, of note values and types. Now, in music, as you will have all seen these types of notes before. Not all of you will have understood exactly what they are and what they mean, but note values are what we use to write down rhythm, essentially. So when note values have nothing to do with pitch. Okay, note values, how long a note lasts, and pitch are two sort of completely different things, really. As you can see, you've got American and British here. Now, Americans call notes by different names than the British do. Okay, but it's worth knowing both, so you can sort of, if someone starts calling a half note, you know that they mean a minim, or if someone says minim and you decide you prefer the American terminology, some people do, you can call it a half note. So what we have, we start off with a whole note, or what we call a semibreve. Okay, now a semibreve in musical notation is a note that lasts for 4 counts. Okay, so if I were to play a note that lasts for 4 counts, I would do this: 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And that note, it lasted for 4 counts. Okay. If you sing a note that lasts for 4 counts, la, there. Okay. It's the duration of the note itself. Then what happens is, much like mathematics, and I think this is where when people say music and maths are the same, I think this is kind of what they mean. So when you divide a note in half, you get 2 of, whatever half the value is of that note. You subdivide notes. So when you subdivide a semibreve, which is 4 counts, you chop that in half and you get 2 minims. Okay, so these are minims. You'll have seen these before. So they are just like a note head, an empty note head with a stem going up. Okay, and these are worth 2 beats each. Okay, so safe to say that 2 minims equal the same as 1 semibreve. Okay, now if I were to play 2 minims next to each other, I would get this: 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, you can see how there are 2. Yeah, so a semibreve would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 minims: 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Next one down, when we subdivide those 2 minims, we get obviously 4 of something else, and we get 4 crotchets. Okay, so these are kind of the most widely sort of used notes that you see in decorative cups and things like that. You always see crotchets and quavers as well. You see, so a crotchet is worth 1 beat. Okay, 1 beat. So if I were to play 4 crotchets, I would get this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and as you can see, that ties in with the duration of the whole note. So or the semibreve: 1, 2, 3, 4 minims: 1, 2, 3 crotchets: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you see it's just halved every time. Then when we halve crotchets, we get quavers, which are double the speed of crotchets, or half a beat in length. Okay, this is where it starts getting a little bit more complicated, because you start subdividing wholes into halves and things like that. So you have the main beat, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and then you play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so if I were to play, well, what we would have 4 crotchets there, and then 8 quavers would fit into 4 crotchets. Okay, and if I were to play that, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4. So can you hear there are 2 notes there to each beat? Okay, so I'll go over that one more time. Semi-breve, 1, 2, 3. Minims, crotchets, quavers. Okay, so it just doubles the speed every time, essentially. The next one, obviously, is semiquavers. We're not going to be touching on semiquavers for a while, but those again would be sort of half of that. In that sense, it would be a quarter of a beat. Okay, so you can fit 4 semiquavers into 2 quavers, and 2 quavers into 1 crotchet, and 2 crotchets into 1 minim, 2 minims into 1 semi-breve. Okay, there's another table here that I've got, which might sort of make it a little bit more easier for you to sort of see. This one doesn't include semiquavers; it's just quavers. Yeah, so you've got your semi-breve at the top there, and you subdivide them into minims, which are 2 beats. Then we've got the 4 beats coming away from the minims, and subdivide those again, and you get quavers. Okay. So there we are for those. By the way, all this stuff will be sent out to you in the emails, all this stuff. So, okay, now I have a link on it. Right. The next thing we have. So that's the basics of notation. Okay, that's kind of how it works. That's what notes are. That's what notes durations are. Okay, and that's pretty much all you need to know for note durations at this point. In the worksheet, there are some exercises on note durations and things. The next thing is time signatures. Okay, now then, a time signature is this thing here, these numbers at the beginning of a piece of music. Okay, all pieces of music will have a time signature at the beginning. Okay, they're kind of an essential key point in a piece of music because they tell you how many beats to count in a bar. Okay, and by the way, this is a bar here. Okay, so it's basically what number do you count up to before you go back to 1. Yeah, so if it's 4, you would if it's 4 beats in a bar, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If it's 2 beats in a bar, it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. For 3 beats in a bar, we would have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Have another. Where are we? It's here somewhere. Here it is. So this is time signatures sort of chart here. Okay. So these are what we call simple time signatures. Now you don't need to pay attention to all of these, okay? We're just kind of going to look at the top 3 here, okay? So don't, these will become obvious to you a bit further down the line, but we don't really need to sort of look at those at the moment. The ones we're going to be focusing on are 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4, okay? Now they have sort of certain names to them. If something is, you can see what's happening here is the top number is the number that's changing each time. Okay, and the bottom number stays the same. I'll explain what the bottom number means in a minute. So for now, we're just going to focus on the top number. Okay, so you can see that a 2 on the top means you would count 2 beats, like I just said, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Which is like what a director would beat in, maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, sort of thing like that. And anything with 2 on the top we would call duple time. Okay. The next one up from there would be 3/4. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which is the kind of time you would hear in a waltz or something like that. And that we would call triple time. Okay. Then the next one up, which is the most common time signature found anywhere, is 4/4, okay, which is quadruple time, meaning 4 beats in a bar, Okay. Now what you can see here is that the bottom number doesn't change at all. Okay, because the bottom number in a time signature is what we is the number that denotes what type of beat is in the bar. Okay, so how are the beats divided? Okay, so 4, the number 4 means crotchets. Okay, so we'll have 2 crotchets in a bar, 2 crotchet beats in a bar. Okay, for this one we would have 3 crotchet beats in a bar. Okay, and then 4 crotchet beats in a bar. So we would count it for 2/4. We would count 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Okay, that's basically how time signatures work. Like I said, they're very important because they sort of tell you how to feel the music. Now, if you're sort of struggling a little bit with that, don't worry too much about it, because, like I've said before, further on down the line, it will become very, very clear to you as we sort of dive into it a little bit more. Okay, so that's time signatures. The next thing we're looking at is bar lines. Okay, now bar lines. I'm pretty sure most of you know what bar lines are, or you could probably take a wild guess at what bar lines are. They're these lines here between the bars. Okay, these are bar lines, and what they do serve a purpose. They're not just there to make the music look sort of equal. They basically, they're kind of like a they segmentize the music. They sort of, here we would have 4 beats in this bar. Okay, so if I put 4 crotchets into this bar here, yeah, there we go. There's 4 crotchets. So you can see in the time signature that we've got 4 crotchets in a bar. And after 4 crotchets have been used in the bar, or the equivalent of 4 crotchet beats has been used in a bar, you get a bar line. That tells you, yep, that's the end of the bar. Okay, beginning of the next bar. All right. It doesn't affect the music in any way, shape or form. It doesn't affect the flow of the music. It's simply there to sort of give you a guide, kind of like lines on a road, in the middle of the road. So I can put anything that is equivalent to 4 crotchet beats in these bars here, and it will fill that bar. Okay, so I've got 4 beats in each bar to play with. So maybe I'll take a semi-breve, okay? And I'll put that in that bar. There you go. Now you can see that all the beats in that bar have been used up now, because that semi-breve takes up all the beats. I could take a minim, which would use up 2 of the beats, and I've still got 2 beats left. So I'll put another minim in there. And now all the beats have been used up. 1 2 3 4. You could do a mixture of different note values. So I could do 2 crotchets, which would be 2 of the beats, and then I can put a minim in, which is also 2 of the beats. Okay. I could even use quavers if I wanted to. So remember, quavers are worth half a beat. So if I went maybe 1 beat, 2 beats, and I'm going to use some quavers. So a quaver is half a beat, remember, so I can fit 2 of those into the space of 1 beat. So I can get 2 of those in there. There we go. And they join up as well. When you put quavers next to each other, they hold hands. They've got like a nice little tail there. The tails connect. I've still got room for 1 more beat. So there it is. Okay. Now, how would this sound? That's the question, isn't it? So we know that, we know what the values are of these beats, of these notes. But how do we sort of make it sound like a rhythm? But what we would do is we look at the time signature as 4 beats in a bar. Okay, 4 crotchet beats in a bar. That's 1 beat. That's 1. That's 1, and that's 1. Okay, so I'll just go 1 2 3 4. Yeah. 1 2 3, 4. And then for this one, I would just hold that for 4 beats. So if I were to clap this, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Then I move to the next bar and I go back to the 1 again. Okay? So we have here a note lasting 4 beats. So I just hold that note for 4 beats. For the whole 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there it is. So if I started from here, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving to the next bar, obviously I would hold each of these beats for 2 each. So this one would cover beats 1 and 2, and this one would cover beats 3 and 4. And then we would have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we get to a little bit more complicated bar. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Remember, we have to count in between the beats sometimes as well. So for this bar, we would have 1, 2. Whoopsie daisy. Sorry about that. We would have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Or 1. So you can hear how the beat is still there. Bum, 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 bum. Like that. So if I were to play this whole thing then, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So you're just keeping that internal beat going all the time. Yeah? Remember, beat and rhythm are kind of 2 different things. Okay? The beat is kind of where what the director would do. 1, 2, 3, 4, just keeping the beat there, keeping a good solid beat. And the rhythm is what weaves in and out of the beat. Okay? Rhythm changes, beat tends not to change as much or not change at all sometimes. Okay? Good. Right then, I think that covers everything for the first session. I don't want to get too deep into it. I do have a tendency, I'll warn you now, to go off on a tangent sometimes if I get into a little bit of a... sometimes I get a little bit sort of too keen and eager to explain things, so I am using all my willpower to hold back right now, believe me. I hope that was enough for you all, okay? So I'm gonna stop the recording now.